conflict, politics, military-industrial complex, technology, war. The Flash Traffic Podcast.
Okay, so I was not going to do a podcast again for the next couple of weeks, but the attack on the Russian air bases and possibly the naval base was so fantastic. I just had to do one more podcast before I get on the plane. I'm about to get on a plane for Istanbul, where the latest rounds of peace talks just ended.
Are you going there as a consultant by world leaders to determine the way ahead for the negotiations?
Yes, they wanted me to go there and mediate the talks, but I said no. I'm just going to look at the Blue Mosque and hang out for a day before I go to Ukraine. So this Operation Spiderweb is what the Ukrainian SBU, the special police, whatever they are, the FSB, if you will, for Ukraine, pulled off. I think today, let's just talk about what happened, how they did it, implications for Ukraine, and then maybe implications for the larger world, given this technology. So apparently, and I'm going to share the screen here. Apparently, okay. So Ukraine, the SBU, put a bunch of FPV drones in the top of shipping containers, what we would call connexes, and then smuggled them into Russia. And this all happened yesterday. They smuggled them into Russia to different areas. So
are you saying all the attacks were from these containers? The 4 different attacks?
Apparently, there might have been more because there might have been an attack on the naval base as well. So, okay, just look at this map here. Here's where the attacks were that we know of right now. They were spread out across Russia. And this attack in Siberia, in Belaya, I guess that's how you pronounce it, air base in Kursk. Apparently that was 2,500 miles away from Ukraine. So what they did is they put these drones on the very top of these connexes. They put these connexes on trucks and had operatives drive them close to these military bases. And then, and I'll share this screen so you can see what these boxes look like. Boop. So they're on top.
They're pretty rudimentary.
The boxes or the drones?
Both.
I mean, they're cheap Chinese drones. So yeah. So basically, Ukraine put on a master class on how to punk a former superpower using cheap Chinese drones.
So I would just say this indicates, obviously, and we've discussed this before, Ukraine has covert operatives operating inside Russia, and apparently they can go just about anywhere they need to go. If you can whack Russian generals in the inner rings of Moscow, then you can park a truck on the side of a dirt road in Siberia. But they have obviously clandestine operatives in the country with significant reach.
Sure. And one of the most amazing things about this, Zelensky said that they were able to get everybody that was involved in this operation out of Russia. Now, that may or may not be true because there are some rumors. Of course. But there are some rumors that there have been some gunfighting going on between those operatives that were not able to get out. But looking at these connexes, so the roof of the connex opens up automatically to allow these FPV drones to fly out and hit their target. Apparently, it's pretty close. Looking at some of these videos, these drones were, maybe less than
Mile?
4 miles away.
Couple miles.
Maybe 4 miles. Yeah, a couple miles away. We still don't know exactly what was controlling the drones. So they were either partially AI driven as far as targeting, or they were partially human controlled, or both. Apparently they used the phone system to communicate to the drones, the
So
Russian
the established
LTE
cell phone network.
Yeah. So let's look at a video now. I'm going to show a video of the drones flying into. Here's a video of the drones flying out of these connexes, these shipping containers.
Вот он, коптер опять взлетел. Откуда взлетает, ничего не понятно, блядь. Вот он, клоун, блядь. Оба ни с того ни с сего, сука. Оба. Вот
Yeah, out of nowhere.
ёб
Yeah.
твою
By
мать,
that you
чё
mean the connex right in front of you.
Нихуя мы работаем за рулем,
Exactly.
блядь.
So you can see the
Вот
smoke. They
коптером
must have already
управляй,
hit some.
нахуй. Грузовая
Hit some targets out there. Oh, now they're trying to shoot down the drones.
А,
A little
это
too late.
сшибает его, прикинь. Это какой-то...
So that was a local Russian, I believe, like just some dude driving by to get coffee, and he's like, "Oh my God, there's smoke on the airfield. Let's take a video from here." Oh, what's that? Oh, well, it's the covert drones taking off 10 feet in front of you to hit $100 million aircraft. And the dude's like, "Oh, it's pretty cool, bro."
Look at that. That's amazing. I guess your first, if you saw it, your first reaction would be like, "Oh, what's going on? Those drones are flying out of that truck."
That's cool, dude.
And then you see the drones hit. Okay, here's a video of the drones flying into the bombers.
This is some pretty clear imagery.
It's very clear, especially for like an LTE phone network in Russia. So I wonder if they didn't have some kind of retransmit device or setup.
That's very good imagery. Yeah, that's great imagery. And that thing's just hovering right there, taking its time. No rush.
I'm not sure that this drone, this might have been the drone that they set aside to take the video of all the other drones. Because I believe there's some more video.
Well, he's going to get pretty close.
He's going in.
Yeah, he's getting pretty close here. Yeah, very slow.
I guess he's taking his time. And I think that is a Tu-95. They're B-52 equivalent.
B-52 equivalent. Although B-52 has jet engines, but we get it.
Yeah. Okay. So boom, but pretty clear. There's other videos out there of the the drones going in and just blowing up, and then one drone's flying through the fire, avoiding the fire of the other bombers getting blown up. Apparently they blew up $7 billion worth of Russian strategic air assets. That's the high
end estimate.
It could be 2 billion to 7 billion. Possibly 34% of Russia's strategic air assets.
How many planes are the estimate?
According to the Washington Post this morning, it was 41 aircraft. But that also included an A-50, their AWACS equivalent, which is a very
Are we going to get into the specifics of this, or where are you going with this?
With specifics of what? The drones or
like the AWACS?
Aircraft?
We want to talk AWACS a little bit?
Real quick, I mean, it's very significant. They don't have very many of them. I think last year, was it? Maybe less than a year ago, when they blew up one over the Black Sea, a Russian AWACS A-50. I think at that point, they only had 8 or maybe 7 operationally capable.
So AWACS looks out over the battlefield, right? The aerial battlefield. It looks out hundreds of miles and can detect, deconflict, coordinate air attacks. Like, you need it to see ahead and to see enemy aircraft. And I guess there's supposition that some of these more recent effective Ukrainian CAS attacks and their own JDAM attacks is because the US or the Russia is taxed in its AWACS capability. And because they have so few, and also understand Russia flies their international borders with AWACS aircraft to look out as part of their strategic defense is you defend your borders and you look out hundreds of miles with these aircraft. And I believe probably at this point, Russia doesn't have enough aircraft, enough AWACS to run these racetracks around their own borders. And now that you're losing an aircraft like this again, they have less airframes to do this. And like I said, we're not Air Force guys, but these aircraft have a limited amount of hours that can be put on their airframes. Engines get wore out. The actual airframes, like the wings and where they meet the fuselage, get wore out. You can only put so many hours on these until you need maintenance or you got to replace them. So this is part of this like downward spiral with their AWACS fleet, where if you lose even one, because you're undersourced already, you lose one. Now those remaining airframes got to put all these hours on it, and it's a downward spiral of maintenance and them getting wore out, and maybe you start seeing them crash because you're wearing them out.
Well, I mean, if you talk about only having 6 of these, maybe
that's not a
they
lot.
just lost another one. Now they only have 5, let's say, and you have to run them in intervals, like you said, shift work. And you have to cover the largest country on the planet. Their operational air picture is going to be greatly diminished, like you said.
So I don't think at this point, I'm going to say they can't provide surveillance 24/7, 360 of the Russian landmass. It's over. They've got gaps in their air warning system.
Yeah, which just compounds their dilemmas. And so now Ukraine can continue to take advantage of that with, who knows, some other drone attack. But some are calling this the greatest intelligence operation in history. And those people need to calm the fuck down. They need to calm the fuck down.
That's a strong statement by you. That's a strong statement by you.
This was amazing. Well, okay, just going to rattle off a couple of other intelligence operations in history that might be the greatest intel, other than a couple of Chinese drones hitting some bombers. The Allied deception for D-Day, the Enigma code breaking, Operation Mincemeat, when the Allies convinced Hitler that they were going to invade Greece.
Do you have anything in this century?
Sicily.
Anything in this century?
How about Operation Neptune Spear? I shot Bin Laden. When we got Osama bin Laden. That was pretty good. That was pretty fantastic.
True, but at that point, bin Laden had negligible effect on the movement, if any. Gone to ground,
it was
hiding.
Still cool. It was still cool.
Pakistan was hiding him. Yeah, sure, it was unfinished business, but he really had no day-to-day effect on the running of Al-Qaeda operations.
Yeah, but it was still cool. We invaded Pakistan.
The movie was cool.
We invaded Pakistan with a couple of stealth helicopters.
The movie was cool. I thought the movie did a good job of showing what they could show.
Yeah. But anyways, the greatest intel operation in the world. Okay, calm the fuck down.
Okay, that's...
So. But still
maybe this
pretty
century,
impressive.
Maybe in the past...
Still pretty impressive.
2 decades.
Yeah. Well, what does this mean? What does this mean for the Ukraine war? Well, first of all, this obviously increases morale for the Ukrainians, but it also gives them leverage, negotiation leverage, right? It must.
This, in my opinion, I don't know if how many times you can embarrass Putin and Moscow and Russia. Embarrasses them again. This is an operational bitch slap to Moscow. All their huffing and puffing and nuclear saber rattling, and you just got punked for like a couple tens of thousands of dollars and probably have lost billions of dollars of equipment. A lot of it you can't replace. Like their equivalent of the B-52, they don't make them anymore. Yeah. It's like the Mutlub. You don't make them anymore. Once they're destroyed, you're never getting them back. There's no replacing it. You probably got problems with spare parts, etc. You have lost billions from Ukraine, which spent pennies on a dollar, for a tremendous asymmetric economic return. Economically, you want to talk about the math of this? This is just cost the Ukrainians a penny, and
It
Russians
didn't cost
lost
anything.
billions.
It was basically free. I call it killing Russians for free. When you look at the
That's
contrast
inflammatory.
between
That's inflammatory, sir.
what free?
Yeah, what do you
When
mean it's for
talk
free?
about-
You got to pay for the drones, dude. It's like $1,000
Okay, well,
a
it's
pop.
nothing. That's nothing. So they said that they might have trained the AI on those drones using Soviet era
Duty?
bombers.
Oh,
Well, maybe, but Soviet era bombers that they had in museums.
really?
That is what I heard. Might
Yeah,
be
that's it.
bullshit.
Well, that's interesting, but that's how training takes place of an algorithm, is just imagery.
Yeah.
Different angles, different, whatever. Yeah, trying to get all that data for them to do that. That's interesting. I wouldn't discount it.
Yeah. Well, this may put pressure on Putin from the Siloviki or other elites in the military apparatus, because they're like, hey, we're losing all our strategic. These are dual use
Right.
equipment, right? They fire
Right.
conventional cruise missiles, but they also fire nuclear weapons.
Right.
So they're losing their strategic deterrence, if you will. So that might put some pressure on Putin to be like, hey, you need to stop this. Because I remember, if you probably remember this, there was one target that the Ukrainians messed around with, and then the United States said, under no circumstances will you attack that inside Russia. It wasn't refineries. It wasn't air bases. It was the over-the-horizon nuclear early warning radar. And when Ukraine fucked around and started messing with those, the United States, NATO, even Hungary probably said, okay, that's one thing you're not going to fuck with.
That's sad.
Because those radars are gigantic. They're like a outdoor drive-in movie theater screen times 10. That's how big they are. So to fly a Ukrainian drone into those, not a big deal. But then you're leaving Russia, half blind when it comes to strategic nuclear.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah, right. They should be. Yeah, they should be. Yeah,
is it a good thing? I don't know.
It shows the facade of Russia. It shows what a paper mache tiger they are as a world power. It just clowns them. There's so much irony in these little cheap drones or whatever hitting like these incredible radar apparatus. It shows what an utter clown show the Russian state is at every level of their security apparatus. Isn't it interesting how the U.S. and NATO wants to maintain mutually assured destruction? Isn't that interesting how we still have that in our minds mentally? Well, if we can guarantee that we'll wipe each other out on the planet, then we won't do it to each other. So isn't that interesting? You got to maintain that mutually assured destruction apparatus like that radar system to create that certainty in your mind that we'll wipe each other out, and therefore we'll never do it. Interesting, that logic. I get their logic, and that's old logic.
It's a Curtis LeMay wet dream.
100%.
Like
100%.
We're going. Curtis LeMay sitting on his fat ass in the Pentagon smoking cigars could have never dreamed up this scenario where we have a proxy using cheap Chinese technology to attack former Soviet nuclear strategic assets.
Here's a question for you.
No one could have dreamed that up.
100%.
Ever.
Here's a question for you. And by the way, if you haven't watched Dr. Strangelove, you need to. Possibly top 5 movie of all time ever made. So it's about the preposterousness of mutually assured destruction.
Who's Curtis LeMay's character supposed to be? The dude that rides the... I can't remember.
Well, he's an airplane pilot. He's like a B-52 pilot. It's probably more. It's the guy who played Patton. He's like, there's no fighting in the war room.
Scott.
Yeah.
Scott.
Oh, the movie is brilliant. Black and white.
Yeah.
Peter Sellers plays 3 different guys. The movie is brilliant.
A former Nazi scientist.
Yeah, right. He automatically does the Nazi salute and he can't stop himself. Anyways, you talk about dark humor. about nuclear security and mutually assured destruction. It's the best movie ever made. Here's a question. Yeah, go ahead.
Wait, before we get off that movie, the best thing about
Movie's
it is
brilliant.
the Soviets created the doomsday device that can instantly destroy the whole planet, but they didn't tell anybody about it. So they didn't know, the U.S. didn't know they had it as a deterrence. Anyways,
Brilliant.
that's my favorite part of the
movie.
Yeah.
Who has ever done more? Whoever has done more to reduce Russia's nuclear capability since the end of World War II than this? Who's ever done more
Right.
to reduce or degrade their nuclear capability than yesterday?
Yeah, nobody. Hey, this getting back to what does it mean for the Ukraine war? This war is going to continue. This is going to be a quid pro quo fest. On the same day, Sunday, yesterday, that the Ukrainians pulled off this masterclass on how to make Russia look like fucking idiots. On the same day, Russia attacked Ukraine with the largest number of drones ever.
Okay.
472 is the number I have, plus a number of missiles. So to think that this war is winding down and we're going to get into the negotiations, that negotiations today, that lasted an hour. They didn't get shit done. It was like POW exchange.
Like really an hour or like 50 minutes and a coffee break? Because
an hour, I don't know. The early reporting. I mean, it just ended. It just ended like 5 minutes ago before we started this podcast. The early reporting was it lasted an hour. They talked about POW exchange.
Can I address?
They didn't get to the memorandum of terms of understanding or whatever. So yeah, go ahead.
Can I address the Russian propaganda, fake news, nut hugger world? There's a lot going on there because there's a whole bunch of stuff out there on social media, the Twitterverse, etc., of the Russian nut huggers. Oh, you're going to be sorry now, Ukraine.
Shit, nuclear war now.
Oh, we're going to go. What are you going to do, dude? Like Russia has, been accused of committing genocide. They've bombed children hospitals. They blow up, steamroll, destroy, kill everything in front of them. But now you're going to get it. What? That's the Russian nut hugger narrative that we've been holding back and now we're going to go ape shit on you. No, you're not. Russia has nothing else they can do. They have fired every bullet in the gun. They've tried every horrible tactic. They have done the most despicable things they can think of. But now you're really going to get it. Yeah, more
if you're attacking
garbage.
Yeah, it's all bullshit. If you're attacking trenches with dudes on motorcycles and electric scooters
and donkeys,
if you had anything in the tank, if you had any ace in the hole, you would have fucking played it by now.
You would have used
Don't bullshit
it, bro.
us.
You got
You're full of
nothing
shit.
left. And then
you're full of shit, Russia.
Are you going to address also the Kremlin nut hugging? This is World War III. They're going to have to launch a nuclear weapon now. And there's all these fake videos of nuclear weapons being launched. Like, you all made it up, you Russian fucking bot networks. A lot of them out of Africa. Like, all they can do is come up with AI-generated nonsense. Because Russia, you got nothing, bro. You've got no response.
Well, this doesn't bode well for the peace process, which I've been saying since the beginning of this year that it's going to break down. It's pretty much already broken down, in my opinion. This war is going to continue, and we're going to see, hopefully, we're going to see a bunch of other crazy shit continue to come out of Ukraine.
I hope so.
Like, you know, so. I always lament the fact that whenever Ukraine pulls something out of the rabbit out of the hat like this, that it's very small scale. It's like one Magura 5 drone with anti-air missiles on it one time, or but this seemed to be pretty significant.
Bigger.
Like you clearly the SBU had to optimize over whether to build up a massive attack. Like, could they have waited another year and had destroyed all of the bombers? perhaps, but by that time the intelligence gets leaked, operatives turn. They had to weigh getting something done versus destroying all of the Russian Air Force. So I have to say that this is, as far as scale goes, and apparently this was in the planning for a year and a half, which OPSEC wise goes is also pretty amazing given the number of Russian rats that are inside the Ukrainian government. Still, this is pretty amazing at scale, and the OPSEC, the operational security.
Looks like Ukraine's security is probably better than our own.
Yeah.
They kept this under wraps. You think the U.S. could have kept this under wraps? Or if Ukraine told the U.S. or NATO, do you think all this would have kept under wraps, or would have been leaked?
Ukraine's not going to tell U.S. or NATO shit. Not with something like this. They're just going to do it and then ask forgiveness later if need be. What is this? Let's wrap this episode up on what does this mean for the world now? Well, basically, you got to keep all your shit underground. Is that what it means? Like, you can't park stuff on the tarmac anymore? It's got to be in bunkers or hangars or what?
This blows my mind. You've got, let's say, $100 million aircraft, part of your nuclear strategic deterrence. You just fucking park it on the runway and just let it hang out there. Oh, my bad.
Tires
okay, you're right. I'm too critical.
The Russians put old car tires on top of the. I think it's supposed to absorb shrapnel or something. If we, traditionally we cluster bomb an air. I don't fucking know.
They've been doing it for a couple of years. This isn't new.
Yeah, it's part of that. We got to do something, even though we can't defeat drones. We got to look like we're doing something.
So you got these strategic nuclear bombers just sitting on a runway, broad daylight, hanging out. You could pay for a civilian satellite overflight for $100 and get photos of these.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah, really. Like, you don't put this in a hangar? Like, you have no protection whatsoever? I love the memes coming out of showing these strategic bombers with a fucking cope cage around it. Like, showing them like flying through the air with a cope cage. I'm like, oh, that's sad, dude. But they didn't protect him at all. There's no protection.
Hey, yeah. Here's a picture
dude,
of
what the fuck is that?
Look,
literally, what the fuck is
tires. That? Look at how many tires that dude, bomber is.
It's
huge.
Like 100 tires.
That's the Tu-95. It's huge. Look at how many.
And for a drone, because you think the drone's not going to fly around the tire and hit another part of the plane? What are we doing here?
I think it's for like shrapnel. Like if you cluster bomb the runway.
So they're basically like, well, we're going to do what we can. No defense whatsoever. They had no defensive preparation for this. Conceptually, they had no idea how to defend against this at all. It was like taking candy from a baby.
How would the United States defend against this? How would we defend against somebody?
C-RAM.
What's that?
C-RAM.
You think so?
That's
Little tiny FPV drones? We're going to C-RAM?
Dude, didn't you see the video like a couple of weeks ago with C-RAM, a dude in Syria or whatever, and it's like took out a drone?
Oh, well, there you go. Then we don't have anything to worry about. United States installations in general, whether it be State Department, whether it be military bases somewhere, I guess they don't have anything to worry about. The tower, the bases in Jordan. You don't think that some ISIS asshole could pull this off?
The U.S. has nothing. The U.S. has nothing to learn from this because we're better. We're better in all aspects, and things will just go our way.
Oh, yeah. We're never going to have to worry about this. I think every military base, every consulate, you name it, across the world,
they're vulnerable.
Now have to think about this. A bunch of drones flying out of the top of a truck. Could be anything. Doesn't have to be a shipping container.
Could be anything.
Could be a goat chicken bus in Nicaragua. I don't know. It could be anything, right? Here comes the drones. What are you going to do? Oh, C-RAM? You're going to have a C-RAM on all four corners of every installation?
You better have a lot of ammo.
You're going to have lasers, and you're going to have microwave guns.
Yeah, you use the microwave guns. Yeah, those things are great, dude. 12 gauge. 12 gauge.
Anyways, There's so many things that the world needs to be on notice about from this war, and this is just another data point.
Ubiquitous drone
If
warfare.
you're not paying attention to ubiquitous drone warfare, eventually we're all going to be living underground because everything above ground is going to be flying around. Zzz, boom, boom.
Now, can I mention
Yeah.
one counter drone thing I saw?
Yes.
Because I know people are hawking, different systems or whatever. I went up and saw a demo about a minigun counter drone system. Looks like Ukraine has developed their own indigenous. I don't know about all the components or whatever, but basically it's a counter drone system, with a little radar system and all that stuff, using a Browning 50 cal. A single Browning 50 cal,
That's
aligned with radar and thermal imaging.
Oh, that's for shooting Shaheds.
Yeah, right, whatever. But I think that's brilliant. You got a pretty good, mile range on that. It's old, it's tested, the 50 cals around. I know, but I think that's got to be like on every vehicle or around every vehicle. You can't wish away the drone threat. And I think that's what we've largely done, and the Russians have done, and even the Ukrainians, they've wished it away. If you don't have something legit on your vehicle, you're dead. So I don't know if they can mass produce this. And I saw a picture of it, looked pretty small, pretty compact. I'm like, the 50 cal, that's what you need. We're talking for, half mile or less or whatever. But
right.
But you need that everywhere, or they're going to get you. Where was the Browning 50 cal on the perimeter of the Russian air bases? Like the dude in the video is like, the cops are shooting at him. Like the dude's got like an AK shooting in the air. You're not hitting anything.
It's just Russian buffoonery, right? Just no protection of their air bases, no concept of what is possible of the threat. I mean, they've
just
been
wish it away.
Fighting drones for
years.
3.5 years.
For years.
And they don't think any of this is going to happen.
This
Put
isn't
some tires on it.
Yeah, this isn't the first deep strike Ukraine's done. Right? They've been doing deep strikes at tons of targets all the time. How do you just wish this away? What they did.
Yeah. Look at this. Check this out. This dude made an AI-powered automatic gun. It only attacks the color that he says.
Change tracking color to blue.
Then it attacks the blue balloons. Okay.
What's it shooting?
I don't know. Darts. Track the targets as they fly.
Dude, that's pretty cool and scary. That scares me.
Yeah, because no matter how good a shot you are, that a robot can do it better. A robot can aim better. It can track better.
Its eyes don't get tired.
No,
it's not hungry.
It never sleeps.
It's not
never
cold.
Sleeps. Yep.
Its wife didn't divorce him.
That's right. Doesn't have money problems.
Yeah, it doesn't have kids who got in a car accident.
Adderall or ketamine.
Or TikTok. It's just there. It's just
it's
present.
Always watching, ready to kill anything that moves. And that's where we're going.
Skynet.
That's where we're going.
Shoot bald-headed guy with glasses. Okay.
No, I don't believe in that kind of programming. Hey, let's end it on this video. I don't know if this video is real or not, but let's just pretend it is because it is funny. So the title of the video is something like, man decides to go check out the Connex that these drones flew out and attacked the airbase. So they're like, oh, let's go check out the Connex and get some evidence against those Ukrainians.
Yeah, you got to. I got
it. Okay. It's in like slow motion. He walks into the Connex. Hey, what do we got here? Oh, drones. Boom! The whole thing blows up. Yeah. Oh, that's some interesting music too.
Yeah, the music's great. I wonder if, and it's not uncommon, if the Ukrainians rigged this to blow.
I hope so.
Yeah,
Why not?
you wouldn't want to keep this here for them to collect evidence. You would want to do counter forensics, and you'd
Yeah.
want to blow it. So I don't know if they had to sit up waiting for a dude to come in, or the guy tripped something, or they tried to blow the whole thing up and something was delayed. I don't know, but for a counter forensics perspective, you would want to do this.
Yeah, why not booby trap it? It doesn't cost you anything, right? It's basically free. A couple of blocks of C4.
Nothing. Free.
The detonating mechanism. Yeah,
That's a big
basically
explosion.
free.
I think
that was a lot.
Now, that guy might have been okay.
He might have survived.
Yeah,
Look, you can still see his silhouette
He
inside.
might be okay.
You can still see his silhouette inside after the explosion. Look, he's okay. Oh, he's
God.
fine.
Oh, good.
That dude's fine. He'll recover. A
He
couple
got
weeks.
on, what, a track suit and a tank top? He might be all right.
Yeah. It's a Nomex tracksuit.
Oh, that guy's toast, man. That guy is freaking goldfish food.
Okay. Hey, good chat. I am off to Eastern Europe.
Safe travels.
Now. A couple of hours. Okay. Good talking to you.
Give Zelensky my best.
I will. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The Flash Traffic Podcast.